everyone, and welcome back to Nate Rob Mania. I am Nate, and I'm going to be doing my spoiler-filled review for Avengers Infinity War. And yeah, Rob's not here. It's Sunday. We actually saw the movie the first day. It was I loved it. But there's a lot to talk about. Yeah, I will have my non-spoiler review in the description for you guys to check out. But anyway, I want to get started. I figured I'd play Lego Marvel Avengers 2, not Avengers, Lego Marvel Superheroes 2, just because, you know, they all come together, so it would be pretty good. But anyway, yeah. So before we get started, again, this is a spoiler-filled video. If you have not seen the movie, please go and see it first, because there's going to be massive spoilers ahead. And, you know, you've been warned, so yeah, just come back to the video after you see the movie, and then we will have this talk. Okay, so, let's get started. So yeah, I'm just going to play around with Spider-Man. I figured we'd start out. So, what everybody wants to know about in this film, as far as spoilers go, is let's talk about those death scenes and what I'm going to be calling the temporary deaths. Now, of course, the real deaths. So what I mean by that is the people that died before Thanos did the whole snap with his fingers thing. So who died? Well, in the beginning, Loki got strangled by Thanos after he gave him the Tesseract, and he tricked him and all that, and he tried to stab him again, but didn't work out for him. And Thor was, you know, he was, as any brother would be, he was traumatized, and he was very upset. And not only that, but Thanos went and killed his best friend Heimdall. Heimdall got stabbed, and it was messed up, man. It was really messed up. Then we cut later into the film, I think in the second act of the film, Thanos, or it could be the third act, but I don't exactly remember. But Thanos he almost has everything he wants. He's literally going for the Fourth Stone. In the beginning he has the Power Stone, and then he has the, and then of course he has the Space Stone. I don't know why I didn't remember that, but he has that, and then he's going to try to find, let's say, what else? I'm trying to remember which one he got. Oh, he actually got the Reality Stone. That's it. He got the Reality Stone earlier in the film, and he went with Gamora to this planet. I don't remember the name. I apologize. But they go there, and basically they're trying to get the Soul Stone, because she knows the location. And the big spoiler coming up is, of course, that Gamora dies because Thanos needs to kill someone that he loves. He needs to sacrifice a soul of someone else to basically get the Soul Stone. So he's crying, and then she's like, you know, oh, why are you crying? That's like petty. And it's like, oh, it's not for him, it's for you. And yeah, it was a really sad scene. She got thrown off of the cliff in slow motion. She hit the ground and died. And Thanos got the Infinity Stone that he needed. And then, yeah, they moved on. After that, he went to his planet Titan, where the rest of the characters, where Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Star-Lord, Drax, Mantis, and Nebula were all at. And he got the Time Stone, but we'll get into that a bit later, because I don't want to talk about it right at this moment. I feel like there's really no point in talking about it right now. But anyway, getting back to the deaths, of course Thanos has 5 of them now, and he's going for the final one. He's gonna go and he's gonna get Vision. And everybody knew that was coming. Everybody knew that Vision was going to be the next one. And what happens is Scarlet Witch actually kills Vision, but then he goes back in time and he takes it for himself. And yeah, so now he has all of them. And yeah, Vision is the last legitimate death in the movie, which was pretty sad considering like that he wanted the woman he loved to kill him to save humanity and everything from him getting the stone, but it didn't work, unfortunately. So now we're going to talk about the temporary deaths. And I say temporary because it just doesn't make sense to me that it would be like legitimate. Again, we're going to get into it right now. So, the temporary deaths. So, after Thanos snaps his fingers and he sees young Gamora in this world, this other reality or something, you know, she's like, was it worth it? And he was like, yeah, it was. It cost me everything, but it was worth it. Because he wanted to bring balance to the universe by killing half humanity. And he does just that. I don't know if I have this all in the correct order. If I don't, you know, don't smack me around, okay? But yeah, Bucky starts vanishing, and he's like, Steve, what's going on? And then you know, and then of course Captain America is freaking out. Cap is freaking out. Falcon goes, and Rhodey's looking for him. And then Black Panther goes. And that's when I knew something was fishy, because I was like, Black Panther's going, this can't be a legitimate like final death, like this is, he's not coming back. There's just something off about that. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But then Groot starts disappearing and Rocket's all upset and he's like, no, not again, you know, don't die, and all that. And then we cut to Titan, where Mantis starts fading away, and she's all like, and then of course she's like, something's happening, we don't know what's going on. Everybody's freaking out. It's a very tense and just heart-wrenching moment. Of course, Drax starts fading away, and everybody's looking a bit scared. They don't know what's going on. And Doctor Strange goes as well, but before he goes, he actually says to Tony, this was the only way. And I definitely want to get into that quote after I name off the rest of the temporary deaths, because it's very important, and we gotta talk about that. But, let's see. And then, after Doctor Strange goes, Peter Quill, you know, Star-Lord, he's like, oh man, oh shit, you know, and then he floats away, and of course Tony's like, stay Quill, and then, you know, he just goes. And one of the more tragic ones, besides Black Panther, I think Spider-Man was the most tragic one, because it was just like, he felt it, and he went slow, and he was like, Mr. Stark, I don't want to go, I don't want to die, you know. And he didn't know what was going on, he was scared, and then he's like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, and then he fades away. At that moment, I knew for a fact that he was not going, I knew at that moment, especially after Panther and Groot went, I was like, there's no way they're going to stay dead. There's no fucking way. And you might think I'm in denial, but I'm not. I don't think so. You can believe what you want. Again, this is my opinion on like what I think, but I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think it's over. Not like that. But after that, we got, in the end credits scene, we have Maria Hill shows back up, and Nick Fury shows back up, and they're like, whoa, what's going on? And people start disappearing. So it's not just the heroes, it's also the people, because it's half humanity. And things go to shit, and Maria Hill starts she starts to fade, and then Nick starts to fade away as well, and he's like, oh shit. So he gets his pager and he's calling somebody. Of course, like the iconic Samuel Jackson quote of him saying motherfucker, he was like motherfucker, and then like it just he fades away, which I thought was kind of funny. But yeah, even so, with those two going, you know it's not over. Like, they're not just all gonna go. Like, that's a load of horse shit right there. But anyways, getting into that, those were all the deaths that I can remember and that I actually wrote down, because I did write down some of these just so I could stay on track with what I wanted to talk about. But those are the deaths that have happened. So with that, there is and then of course when the pager falls, Nick picks it up. Not Nick. he's gone. What am I talking about? The pager goes and there's a symbol that shows up, and then you know the colors, the symbol, and we all know it's Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel is going to play a huge role in this next film. We already know that's the case. But anyway, I want to talk about, you know, all the people that are freaking out right now about, like, oh my god, our favorite heroes are dead and they're not coming back, and oh my god, it's so sad. Like, I know it hurts, but honestly, I don't believe it for a second that they're dead. Here's some reasons why. First of all, looking at Black Panther and Spider-Man. Spider-Man just came back to Marvel in 2015. I mean, we didn't see his debut till Civil War, but yeah. So it's only been like 2 years. He had his first movie, and it's just like, really, would they kill off his franchise like that? I don't think so. I really don't. Especially when they confirm that his second film is going to take place after Avengers 4 and start Phase 4, guys. So, you know, I'm pretty sure he's coming back in some capacity. Also, let's look at Black Panther. Really, a fan favorite. Black Panther's debut in Civil War. Fan favorite. His movie just came out this year, and not only was it super successful in the box office, but it was also a cultural phenomenon for the black community, and not just the black community, but just like everyone else as well. But it really affected a lot of people in the most positive way. He's one of like Marvel's favorite characters now, the MCU's favorite characters. And another thing, going back to the box office thing, do you really think Marvel's just going to be like, well, we made like almost $1 billion on this movie alone. Let's not do any more movies after that. Really, guys, calm the fuck on. I don't think so. That's absurd. Oh, and the other thing, Rocket Raccoon being the only Guardian. I mean, if you count Nebula still being, you know, being a Guardian, okay, her and Rocket. Really, they're gonna hold their own movie. As far as I know, James Gunn confirmed there's a third movie, and it's going to have the original. It's going to have the main cast we know and love. And okay, that was a glitch. But anyway, it's like, really, guys? No. It's once they went to, I was like, there's no fucking way they're going to keep them dead. It's just like too many franchises they're killing off. And I know they could make the sequels take place before Infinity War. Really? Okay, so let's talk about that. Alright, so Guardians 3. Like, really, is Guardians 3 going to take place before? They teased Adam Warlock. He's a big deal in the comics, especially in this arc, for sure. So obviously, why was there no mention of him in this movie? There was absolutely no mention of Adam Warlock. They didn't say, hey, maybe we should get this guy to help us out. There was no mention of him. Like, he's obviously going to be mentioned, or at least maybe he'll be featured in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. So the fact that he never showed up or got mentioned, or was like, hey, you know, this guy might be bad, or this or that, no, it doesn't make sense. And the whole thing with, like, Okoye talking to Black Panther and saying, like, oh yeah, you know, the whole, like, when we opened up Wakanda to the world, I didn't think that it was going to be like this, and it was like, oh, what'd you think? It was like, oh, it's going to be a Starbucks, or maybe the Olympics we open up here. And that was recent. Okay, I know that the Black Panther takes place, like, right after Civil War. So does Spider-Man Homecoming and all that stuff. I get that. But still, it's like, really, is he going to fight, like, two villains right before Infinity War and not kind of have any mention of that at all, or any, like, consequences? Like, I just don't see it. like, so guys, relax. Most likely they'll be back. I can't really say for sure with Loki and with Gamora. I mean, they may be permanently dead, and that's what I'm thinking. So any super fans with those characters, which I know Loki had a huge following, I feel for you. He was an awesome villain. He was a really cool character, but I think it's over for him. So, I mean, he is the god of mischief, so maybe he'll come back. Who knows? We'll keep our eyes open for that. So, and Gamora coming back, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think she's gone for good. Sad to say, but that's just how I feel about that, and that's what I think. Now, as far as Vision goes, maybe they can reconstruct him, because Shuri might have possibly made a copy of him or something of that nature with his AI, so who knows. But yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention Scarlet Witch went as well. And I'm just like, okay, they're not gonna have Vision and Scarlet Witch die too, alright? Bullshit my ass. She was one of the temporary deaths. I am so sorry I did not mention her. I don't know why it slipped my mind, but it did. Yeah. Scarlet Witch, just going like that out of nowhere. Like, no. I don't think so. But yeah, there's too much evidence pointed towards them coming back. But, yeah, there's, and now, going to Doctor Strange's plan. That I want to talk about. It may not be his plan per se, but if you remember earlier in the film, Doctor Strange had over 14 million visions he saw into the future to see like what would happen. He saw all these possible outcomes, and he was like, "Oh yeah." And then of course Tony was like, "Okay, how many of those outcomes do we win?" And then of course Doctor Strange said only one, which that's big tension to do that. It makes sense, to make it even more like, oh shit, we only got one chance. This is terrifying. But yeah, so with that, it's like, okay, so he only has one plan. Who's to say, when Doctor Strange. And then people get confused as to why Doctor Strange would just like give over the Time Stone to Thanos. That's way out of character. Especially, and I know he would never do it because he mentioned to Tony and Peter a couple times in the film before they even got to Titan. He said, I would rather have you two die while I protect this stone, because like that's just what it is. He said, I'm going to protect the stone with my life before I even save one of you two. So why would Doctor Strange just pull a 180 like that and be like, oh, I have sympathy, so I'm going to help you? No. He's doing this because there's a plan. Tony was shocked when he did that. He thought he was just doing it to save his life. Like, because he had pity and he didn't want to see an innocent man die. Or a colleague or a friend or whatever. But no, I don't think so. I think Doctor Strange has a plan. He knows that Tony Stark is the key to killing Thanos. He's the key to this whole thing. He has to live. So that's why he gave it to him, and he knows. He saw the future. He knows how it's going to go down. Before he fades away, he says this was the only way. Now it's the end game. So Doctor Strange knows that there is no other way. And unfortunately, these consequences are going to be tragic, but it is the only way to defeat this Mad Titan. That's the only way they're going to win and kill him. There is no other way. It's just, it is what it is. So, when I'm now going in, one more thing I do want to talk about, with that being said, is the next movie, I will give a quick speculation as to what I think they're going to do. Just kind of like a general thing of what I think they're planning. Obviously, I'm not going to go fully in depth as to what exactly is going to happen, but what I think is going to be important to the story. So, they teased Captain Marvel and Tony lived and this whole thing with Doctor Strange and this whole plan as to how to win. So, obviously, they're going to need a lot of strength, and considering that certain characters are pretty much done for now, that are temporarily gone, they're going to need more backup, and Captain Marvel may be the key. I'm thinking that maybe she will, she's going to team up with Tony Stark, maybe they'll go to Thanos, they'll get the Infinity Gauntlet off of him, and they'll get the stones or whatever they're gonna do, because the gauntlet did get messed up right after he snapped his fingers, so I'm not sure what's gonna happen with that. Maybe he made another one, I don't know, but they're going to somehow reverse time, and they're going to reverse time, or they're going to kill Thanos, take the gauntlet, and have all the Infinity Stones. And I think that either Tony or Captain Marvel or Nebula, one of them is going to fix the whole thing and just like maybe do another snap of the fingers and everything's going to go back to the way it was. Before the whole snap. The other characters, I don't know. The other characters that are actually like dead, I don't know. But that's what I think. So we'll have to wait and see, but it will be a glorious, glorious death to see, Captain Marvel and these main heroes, especially seeing Tony kill Thanos, would be a glorious, glorious death to watch. Especially since he's the man. We started out with him back in 2008, and having him end it all in the final chapter of this 10-year run, that would be very satisfying. And then of course, the characters will come back, Black Panther and Spider-Man and Scarlet Witch and Bucky and all these everybody else that I mentioned will come back, and it'll be great. Now, as far as the fate of the survivors is unknown. Maybe one of them will die, or maybe all of them will die, and the ones that come back that got blown away pretty much, that got disintegrated, or whatever you want to say, maybe they will be the ones that survive, and the classic Avengers will just unfortunately perish, but who knows? It's too early to say. Although one thing I think is very interesting is Ant-Man and the Wasp are going to be in this movie, and there's going to be something going on with that, and Hawkeye is going to be in the movie as well. So maybe Hawkeye is going to get revenge. That's what a lot of people are saying online right now, and then of course other people are talking about the fact that maybe we have maybe at the end, at least in what I think is going to happen in the next two films, which is Ant-Man and the Wasp is next. We know that Ant-Man and the Wasp and Captain Marvel are next. So in Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think it's going to go like a regular MCU film. It's going to be fun, it's going to be interesting, they're going to fight a villain, but then at the end it's going to cut to the future, or however far back this movie is, because I don't know if this takes place before or during Infinity War. So most likely at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp, there will be people disappearing, because that's what happened at the end of Infinity War. People will start disappearing, and maybe Hank Pym will disappear or something, and Scott and Hope will be confused and frightened, and they won't know what's going on, and then maybe they will get a call saying, "Are you guys still alive? Anybody still alive? That's part of our team," or something, or just out there, we need your help. We're in Wakanda. And maybe, they'll go there, and that's the end of the movie. I can see that happening. Now, as far as Captain Marvel goes, that's going to be one of the most important and integral films to watch because, well, it is a prequel, so we're going to get her backstory, but also it is going to be very important to see like what they're going to plan to do with Avengers Endgame. And yes, that is the title. Officially today, they have confirmed that that's the title. Not Marvel Studios per se, but if it's not the title come a year from now, well, it's not the title. It may be called Reassembled, I don't know. Right now, it's called Endgame, which is a very interesting title. I really thought they were going to go with Reassembled, but who knows. So anyway, so we got Avengers Endgame will be coming out May 3rd, 2019. We're going to have to wait and see what happens then. But if I'm right about the whole thing in Ant-Man and the Wasp, that'll be very interesting. I'm very curious to see what they're going to do with that and how they're going to tie those in. And, you know, how obviously Ant-Man and the Wasp are going to play a pretty important role. And, of course, Captain Marvel. And I'm very curious to see what happens with that. And, yeah. I don't really know if there's that much more to say. I mean, Captain Marvel is going to be a prequel. It takes place in the 90s, and Nick Fury's going to have both of his eyes, so that's going to be interesting. And probably by the end, I would assume that probably by the end of Captain Marvel, at least I think it would be pretty cool if she got the distress signal and she went into the street, she found the beeper, and then she's like, oh shit, where's Nick? And then she sees people disappearing and she's like, this looks bad. And then she goes to Wakanda because she finds a distress signal there. And she meets up with the Avengers, and then I could definitely see her just showing up there at the very end of her movie, and then just being like, okay, this situation is bad, I'm gonna help you guys fix this whole thing, and then end credits, and then, you know, fades to black, and then, you know, that would be really cool. At least some version of that. We'll have to wait and see. So Ant-Man and the Wasp, I think, comes out July 6th, and Captain Marvel, I think, comes out March 3rd. It's in March, so I think it's March 3rd. I could be wrong. And, of course, Avengers, I almost said Reassembled. Avengers Endgame will be coming out May 3rd, 2019. It seems like it's far away, but it will catch up, and we have 2 films to keep us at bay, to keep us interested in what may be going on. So, alright, so that's gonna about do it for me for my spoiler review. I hope you all enjoyed my spoiler review of Avengers Infinity War, and if you enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate you giving I would appreciate a like, and if you would subscribe, and of course share this video so other people can enjoy this spoiler-filled review. Yes. Anyways, with that being said, I thank you all for watching this spoiler-filled review of Avengers Infinity War, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!